I like rattling chains. Yeah. Just blowing in the wind, rattling subtly. Hey, welcome to episode 65 of Front Seat Gamer. This is Nick. I'm here with Saveun.
Hey, Nick.
And Blake.
Sup?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
It's going well.
Good.
How are you doing, Nick?
I'm okay. Yep. It's been a couple weeks since our last podcast, as usual.
Mm-hmm.
I've been mostly playing Hearthstone. I've got some thoughts about the most recent expansion. But let's talk about, what have you been playing, Saveun?
I've been playing a couple of things. By the way, I found a very cool coding learning app on phone on app
Mobile?
Yeah, on a mobile device. I don't know if anyone cares about this, but
What's it called?
I thought it was cool. It's called SoloLearn, I think.
Okay.
And they have most of the main languages. It's just a really cool structure where they'll define a thing.
Yeah.
And then the next question is really just an example of it, and then you just, answer the
Well, are you actually coding it all?
It'll throw codes at you, and then it will just ask you to perform a thing, and then you fill in the blanks in certain examples.
Okay, because I did a little bit of Code Academy and stuff, which is a fairly good code teaching tool.
Mm-hmm.
But I always wanted a thing that would allow me to learn to code on a phone.
Yeah.
So this sounds very interesting to me. However, I suspect that reading code and writing code are very different.
I'll show you a little more after. I would encourage anyone who's really interested in it. I'm getting through Python right now.
Okay.
And yeah, there's really cool stuff in there.
Have you made anything with what you've learned?
I've made things in the past. I'm trying to do some things in Maya, like automate a couple of things. What's cool is there are people that know Python for Maya, and I can ask them to check my crappy code.
Yep.
At work, so that's cool. But yeah, it's the best I've seen so far.
What's this app called again?
SoloLearn. They've got C#, all the main languages.
Oh wow!
Nice.
So you just select a programming language and then
it's
goes.
really polished. It's really cool. It's got an achievement system as well.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's really cool.
Memrise. Did you ever use Memrise?
Yes, for learning languages.
Yeah, I had some similar.
One cool thing about this SoloLearn is that they have a comments page for each of the questions and answers.
Cool.
And so for each of their provided definitions, they also have a community one, and you can upvote them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
And so you can go in there and actually see. Often a lot of people expand on that idea, that initial idea, and then you go into it. And if you get the answer wrong, then you can actually visit the comment page and a lot of the highest voted things are usually a good breakdown of that.
How it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's actually a seriously good way to learn.
Dude, it's wicked. Yeah.
Cool.
Highly encourage it.
I'm gonna check it out.
Video games. I brought Quantum Break a very long time ago.
Oh yeah.
I was very stoked to learn that came out on Steam.
Oh right.
Do you guys know about this game?
Is it the one with the time freezing and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the Heavy Rain team?
No, it was. I believe it was the it's those Xbox guys that made the Twin Peak-ish game. Do you know the one? Damn it! It's a Microsoft first party thing. Anyway, very crazy production values on it.
Yeah,
they apparently had a TV spin-off.
There's been a few of those in the last few years.
Early Xbox One days.
Was it for their Xbox streaming
I
programming
believe so.
thing?
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's got celebrities in it too.
Wait, the game or the TV show?
The game.
Okay.
Cool. I recognize the that asshole in Game of Thrones.
Joffrey?
The little finger.
There's so many. There's so many.
Yeah,
that's half. That villain, the Game of Thrones guy.
You know the bad guy in Game of Thrones?
He's really mean in Game of Thrones.
Yep. But yeah, they've got a whole bunch of celebrities and stuff, and it's just a really well polished game.
Is he an asshole in the game?
I haven't played too much of it, but yeah, it looks like it. He's very typecast.
An actor like that, right? If they show up, you're just like instantly, that's the bad guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Wire?
No.
Okay.
He's a villain in it, right?
Nope.
Oh wow.
At least I don't think so.
You know what it is about that guy?
It's been a while.
His face has like harsh angles in it. Like
really,
classic villain facial structure.
It's got a bit of a sharp nose.
The points are very villain.
He's got a lie smile. He's got a suspicious grin. He's got that down to a T.
Yep. He's really good in The Wire. You guys should watch The Wire.
Okay. I've never watched The Wire. Everyone says I should watch The Wire.
Yeah, you should watch The Wire.
All right.
Email us if you think Blake should watch The Wire. Tweet hashtag The Wire. Blake watched The Wire. All of that. So hashtag The Wire. Blake watched The Wire. And you can tweet that at Front Seat Cast.
Yep, do that.
No one's gonna do that.
No one.
Hashtag The Wire. Blake watched The Wire.
Yeah, just fill your tweet with hashtags, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I also got a side note. I also got a reminder on my phone. Do you ever get these this day, however many years ago you did this, like these photos happened
on Facebook?
Oh yeah, the memories.
I got it on like Google Photos.
That's weird.
Really? Okay.
2013.
Yeah.
16th of September, I was camping out for Grand Theft Auto 5.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Man, how disappointed were you?
the midnight launch of.
I would have been managing the Xbox page for that at that night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. I was hanging out with Bogans out in Henderson Mall outside of an EB Games.
Oh man.
For the midnight launch of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Were you in cosplay?
Shit, no.
Oh, what?
It was very bad, man. I got a good look of the Grand Theft Auto crowd that night.
Yeah, what is the Grand Theft Auto crowd like?
A lot of hoodies.
It looks like Saveun.
A lot of hoodies.
Yeah.
Wife beaters.
Yeah.
Blue jeans. Black jeans.
How do you know they're not cosplaying though?
When you say wife beaters, are you referring to the clothing or the behavior?
Yeah, that's true.
Because it could be either, really.
Yeah.
Is that a cultural thing? Like other countries might be like, "What the hell? What did they just say?"
I'm trying to remember. There are definitely countries.
It's a white
where
singlet.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I don't think wife beater is really a thing in the U.S.
No.
I'm almost certain it's not in the UK.
It's definitely projects a stereotype.
Singlet is yeah. I think it's really a funny one as well.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm sure I've heard stand-up comedians do bits about this, but like, it's funny that that's just a name people are fine with.
Yeah. Just I'm just gonna buy a wife beater. Okay.
Like, oh man.
Yeah.
We don't call blankets like Native American killers.
Oh jeez.
But they also had like entertainment, like throw this ball through this hoop into this paddling pool kind of thing.
Classic.
And
Classic GTA.
Yeah, GTA.
Yeah.
GTA to a T.
Yeah.
And like it was a midnight launch, so people were just tired. They just watched this game.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How long were you waiting in line?
Oof. There wasn't a line. They just opened up the entire mall.
Well, how long were you waiting there then for this?
20, 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so you just showed up. You just showed up. You weren't like camping out.
No.
I remember. Was that the first midnight launch you'd done?
I'd never queued up for a game, but I have picked up other games after midnight.
Right, but you hadn't like waited in line.
No.
I went to the midnight launches for a lot of consoles. And for
right, actual consoles. Like,
GameCube. I think I was in the midnight.
Whoa!
I went to the midnight launch for that, and I think for the
which country? Where?
Australia.
Okay.
And I did the midnight launches for some of the World of Warcraft expansions and stuff. Those were always real weird.
I went to a midnight launch for the first World of Warcraft expansion.
Yep, me too.
Yep, and there was some cosplay.
Get out.
Yep.
Yeah. And they gave a free collector's edition for the cosplay.
Wow.
Yeah. And I walked past the, I guess it must have been the line for the midnight opening of Skyrim, because I can't remember where I was. I was in town, and I was out late drinking, and then I walked past EB Games, and there was like people in armor and swords walking around. I was like, what is this?
Wow.
And then I realized it was, Skyrim's coming out tomorrow.
So you just got in line.
Yeah, so I just got online.
Really drunk.
Yeah,
Skyrim!
yeah. I'm just a Skyrim NPC.
Took a beer to the face.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I went to a really disappointing one here in Auckland
Yeah.
when God of War 3 came out on the PS3. I called EB Game, the one down Queen Street, and I was like, "Hey man, do you guys have copies of God of War 3 like on the shelf?" And they were like, yeah, man." And I was like, "Hold one for me. I'll be down there like real soon." And it was like a Friday night, I think. And I had a BMX bike, and I biked down.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
biked.
Did you do a wheelie?
I lived in town,
Okay.
dude. I could do a.
Were you
bunny
just
hop, bro.
fist pumping in the air on the way, just being like, "Yeah, I can't believe it! They've got a copy."
Yeah. So I biked down. I just left my bike outside. This is a very expensive BMX bike, by the way. I left it outside, ran in, and there was no queue. I think I was one of 3 people in the store.
Yeah.
People were like walking past, like, "What is this game shop doing open?"
Yeah.
Like on a Friday. Like a lot of riffraff were outside.
Yep.
It was, just the drunken crowd of like Auckland City. And I was like, "You motherfuckers!" Like I thought.
You thought you were turning out to an event.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a big thing, and yeah,
And so you thought you'd be a hero and ride over on your bike?
yeah.
Meet your people.
I thought I'd see. Well, I was into like reading IGN at the time, and I thought, people would turn out for something like that. But
I'm sure that in some places they did,
Mm.
but sleepy little Auckland.
yeah, for some reason, I got that impression,
Yeah.
and I was really mistaken.
It must be hard for, like, game stores sometimes to like if they feel that there's going to be like this is going to be a big game and like, oh, we should have a midnight release, and then the hype is just not actually there.
I'm sure that they do like market research. And they're like this is the whole reason why they do like pre-orders and stuff, so they can actually
Oh yeah,
gauge
actually,
pre-sales.
that's a good point. Yeah.
This is why pre-order bonuses are such a big thing.
I technically went to the midnight launch of StarCraft 2. Like
Okay.
I pre-ordered it, and then at like midnight, I walked down 2 minutes down the road, walked in there, grabbed it, and then left.
Yeah,
And I'd seen people like out there.
you paid for it though, right?
Yeah, no, I just took it off the
You
shelf.
didn't just
Took
walk
one of
in
those
and-
empty boxes off the
Yeah,
shelf.
yeah. And then when I got home and I realized it was empty, I was really
Yeah. They wouldn't let me back in the store. Yeah. Dude, but like Quantum Break, like,
It's good so far.
yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm playing it with a mouse and keyboard though. I'm thinking. I think I might stick with it.
It's third person, right?
Headshots are pretty good with a mouse. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
But I'm still like in the first. I think I just made it to the second act, so I'm very.
What's
Like early
the
into it.
time mechanics? Or have they not opened up yet?
They kind of have. You can. It's. I can't really describe it. You can like freeze certain areas.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you can freeze time in like a bubble around things.
yeah, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's cool.
What happens if you freeze the back half of a car but not the front half, and the car is
shit.
driving?
Whoa.
I've never done that before.
Okay,
I think you just break the car.
It probably explodes.
cool.
That's a safe
Yeah,
Yeah,
bet.
that's what I would have assumed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good like thing in game design. It's like, oh man, what are we gonna do in this very specific like situation?
Blow it up.
Just blow it up.
Yeah, I wish we could use that solution more often.
Yeah.
It solves a lot of problems.
I don't like thinking about freezing time because isn't it? It's just not a thing.
No, this is
It's
true.
not a thing that happens very often.
Although technically, actually, photons.
Uh-oh.
I was reading or learned about this recently. I don't remember where from. Photons
Yeah.
are basically functionally frozen in time because they travel at the speed of light.
Damn.
So they have no
God.
beginning or end. Isn't that interesting?
They also have no mass, right?
They do not have mass, correct? But they yeah. Photons are interesting.
Yeah.
You see movies where a guy freezes time and then he slaps a dude and then he like unfreezes him and the guy's like, "Ow, someone slapped me." But if you did a faster than speed slap on a guy,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it would just break the world.
Yeah, there's
yeah, you're probably right about that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't.
I
like
always
thinking about that kind
think
of
that's so weird. Like people do take real liberties when like they freeze time and they just reposition people around.
yeah. It's like, no,
I,
that guy's frozen in time.
I'm so sure that actually wouldn't happen.
No,
Like,
of
I
course
don't think
not.
you'd be able to move them.
Like if you instantly move from one place to another, I think
Yeah.
just like the air that you've displaced in no time at all.
vacuum in and-
yeah,
yeah.
it's just not
But,
cool.
I mean, the implication also is that you're able to move things that are frozen in time, which means they're not frozen in time.
Oh,
You can't move something like.
yeah, but
what
that,
happens if I try really hard?
That makes
then?
sense. None of this makes sense.
what if you had
Time travel's
magic?
dumb.
What if you had magic powers
Yeah.
that could freeze time
Yeah.
and you could move people
Uh
with your magic powers?
huh. How
There's
does that
your-
work?
There's your answer.
Tell me more.
Magic.
Well, yeah, if magic is involved. Yeah.
I mean, that's the ultimate thing, right? Is that when it really comes down to it, like in any movie or TV show, they just kind of go, "Yeah, it's magic."
This is so. Last night I stayed up way too late because I was reading Charles Darwin's Wikipedia page.
Jesus, man, you're reading Photons. You're reading.
I spent a
Charles
lot. I
Darwin?
spent too much time on Wikipedia.
Did you go
honestly.
from Photons down a Wikipedia hole and get to Charles Darwin?
You know what? I might have.
Yeah.
But this would have been over the course of weeks.
Oh man,
Like I spend a lot. Almost anytime I'm looking at my phone, I'm probably reading a Wikipedia article.
that's cool.
And
Better than what I do. I just look at Twitter and go, "Oh man."
yeah, no, I have no interest in Twitter at all. Tweet at us at FrontSeatCast if you like Twitter or if you like Charles Darwin
Or
hashtag
photons.
evolution.
Tell us what you think about photons.
So I was reading about Charles Darwin, and so I mean, evolution. We all know what it is. It's all, for the most part, other than like fundamental Christians.
It's
we're
a
all,
theory, right?
Yeah, it is technically a theory.
it's a decent movie from the early 2000s as well.
Is it?
I thought it was decent.
Evolution?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was funny. They had a Head and Shoulders plug.
Yeah.
Very aggressive.
A really hardcore Head and Shoulders plug as well.
I don't
Head
remember
and
that.
Shoulders
at all.
saved the day.
What?
Yeah. I remember that very well.
Yeah.
I don't know at all what you're talking
The
about.
logo was like a yellow smiley face with 3 eyeballs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Actually, no,
The
that
premise,
sounds familiar.
I really like the premise. It was this premise that this meteor crashed down and it had life on it, but that life was super accelerated.
Oh,
so
yeah.
overnight it like sprouted trees, and then like after a few weeks there was like bipedal ape dudes running around and
Yeah.
all this
That sounds
crazy
cool.
stuff. Yeah.
All right, I should watch that.
Yeah. But that's not what the evolution
No.
you were talking about.
No, different. Well,
I always get them confused.
so we all know what evolution is, blah blah blah, and for the most part, we're all sort of kosher with it, other than like fundamental Christians and stuff. But consider that like when Darwin was posing this theory, it was just like quote unquote common knowledge that humans came from God. They were divine creations, and all these other things were divine creations, and so it was like a huge deal for him to imply that that wasn't the case, and so he's really, really cagey about it. And like in his first like printings of his book, he didn't really mention it, but he like sort of implied it and let people draw their own conclusions.
This was not. What was his book called? Something of the Species.
Origin of Species.
Yeah. Was this a different book, or was this?
Or this might have been the Descent of. No, I guess this would have been the Origin of Species. He did like a ton of books, as it turns out.
Yeah.
I know we're a video game podcast, but like, there was also the same thing that happened when people were saying Earth is not the center of the universe.
Yes, Copernicus.
It's freaking great.
Do you think the real like at the core of the pushback from that is you're basically telling people they're not special?
Yep.
Yeah. That's exactly yes. You think you're a divine being, and then you turn out you come from a monkey.
You think, well, I might not be a divine being, but at least my planet is the center of the universe. No,
Other way around, Blake. The discovery. Well, you know what? Maybe that's how you learned it. That's fine. So anyway, there was a point I was getting to here, which was, it's interesting because at some point the Anglican Church put out there was like an argument within there about whether or not evolution was heretical, basically, and someone argued that miracles break God's laws and are therefore atheistic, which I thought was so cool. Like, what an interesting argument to be made. And that's all. So this, I don't remember what we were talking about that made me think of this. There you go.
Yeah, magic is the devil.
Yep.
So, Charles Darwin, heretic. Thank you, creationism.
Yep. You're not important.
You're
Yeah.
not important.
I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Oh, Quantum Break.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. We were talking about the time stop thing, and I was
Yeah.
thinking like, yeah, that's a perfect example of like where when laws break down,
Mm-hmm.
you start and if you say like you've got magic powers,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway.
But on what I've been playing, I've been revisiting old games.
Oh, GTA.
Yeah, a little bit.
Have you ever stopped? What's the longest period you've gone without playing GTA?
Ooh, probably a year or something.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, like
was
a
that
bit-
between the last one and GTA 5?
Yeah, I think the waiting for like the PS4 edition and then just getting it on PC was.
But you were still consuming GTA news the entire time, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
People are still talking about it, man.
Yeah.
These guys,
There-
us guys.
Us, yeah. Wasn't there an expansion for their online just recently?
Yeah, they've got a whole lot of expansions.
Yeah.
I don't really stay up to date with them.
Sure.
I enjoy the single player.
Are those expansions paid or free?
They're all free.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, a lot of cool
Yeah,
stuff.
they're
Shame
really
the-
like boosting up their online because
Shame about the game.
Oh, really? Jeez. Yeah, it's like it's doing really well for Take-Two, so they kind of doubled down with the whole online thing and
Yeah.
support, which is why
It's- I mean,
know
Can you think of any other game that Take-Two has done in like
Mafia.
before or since? Oh, is Mafia Take-Two? That's
Yeah.
2K. I'm holding the box right
Yeah,
here.
yeah. I still haven't opened it.
It's 2K.
Oh wait, yeah, is that not the same guys?
No,
Oh shit. Okay.
Take-Two's different.
Hmm.
I think they're different.
I-
Are they different? Email us if you
I
think they're
thought-
different.
I thought they were the same guys.
No, aren't they owned? Aren't
yeah,
doesn't
I
Take
think there
Two
might
own
be.
Rockstar? I thought.
My interpretation. I think Take-Two is their publisher. Rockstar is.
right. They work together.
Yes.
They know each other.
Yeah.
They're good buddies.
Yep. They're pals.
Yeah.
So, Saveun, I've got a question for you.
Mhm.
Are there any games you're looking forward to?
Red Dead, Last of Us 2.
Okay.
I know I should play the Uncharted game that came out, the DLC, but nothing has really sort of blown me away from what I've seen of that game.
Mm.
So I think there'll be a game I'll be playing over Christmas, most likely.
Okay.
Looking forward to, jeez. Not those two mainly.
Okay. That's fair. Blake, are you looking forward to anything? I don't think you've played much this week, have you?
I haven't played much this week.
Yeah, or the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I've just been playing Tyranny still, which is still cool. But that's, one of those old school RPGs that has like 100 hours of game.
Right.
So it'll take me 3 years to get through it.
Yep.
But I don't know, games I'm looking forward to, that Shadow of Mordor 2.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen?
Interesting. Why is that one on your list?
Well, I like the first one a lot.
Yeah.
And that whole like Nemesis system thing, where well, you guys know the Nemesis system, in the
A brief explanation. You fight dudes multiple times, and sort of every time you beat them, they come back stronger.
not every time, sometimes, and they'll occasionally come back and be like, remember the way that you killed them, and their actual like their body shows those like the way you killed them,
The scars and
the
stuff.
scars from the battle. There was one guy that like I killed so many times, he kept coming back with like eye patch and then like metal plates on his head and like all this stuff, and then eventually he just came back with a sack over his head.
That's awesome.
Why?
Because he was so messed up from all the times I've killed him, but he kept coming
Put
back.
a bag on his head.
Yeah, yeah.
Why? What does that do?
I don't know what's underneath there, man. It's just too much of a mess.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I get
It's just keeping it all
decapitated him,
together.
actually.
The sack's just keeping it all
I'm
in
pretty
one
sure
spot.
the last time I beat him, I decapitated him, and then he showed back up with a bag over his head. So I don't know
Oh, maybe
what's
he just
happening
doesn't have his head anymore. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just got a bag.
there. Yeah, yeah.
It's just
But yeah,
Big
the
sack
second
potatoes.
the second one has like really expanded that into you've got like these sort of fortresses that you take over, and you yourself have your own like hierarchy nemesis system. So you have captains and sub-captains that you assign to these like fortresses that you take over.
Yeah.
And then those sub-captains, or those captains are from like different orc tribes. And depending on what tribe is in what fort, it affects like what that fort generates and like how the whole area looks, you know? And that stuff seems cool. It just seems like they've really, I don't know, doubled down on that whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it at E3 and it looked really good.
Yeah, yeah. And that game was like cool anyway. It had awesome combat and stuff like that. But I never actually finished it because like it was so much fun. You run around that first map and you get all the powers and it's a lot of fun. And then you finally move on to the next map and it's just the same. It's like the exact same stuff. A different set of nemesis, but essentially the same. And I was just tired of it by then. But I'd still played like over 60 hours of it.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But you said you were revisiting old games, like
Yeah. Battlefield 1, I'd never finished a single player. I brought The Last Guardian months ago.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to finish that.
What's that like?
It's an old-ass game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a PS3 game, right?
Yeah, it feels like a
Or
PS3
maybe
game.
PS2, I don't know.
It feels like a PS3 game. I don't like a lot of things about that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one came out to some really mixed opinions. Like,
Yeah, I don't like the quality of life things that are in that because there are none.
Oh.
Like they don't make it very easy to play that game.
My understanding is that your Griffin pal just acts like a wild animal.
Yeah.
And that's cool, except that like no one wants to play a game where you're trying to literally herd cats or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like,
You're like waiting for it a lot of the time,
yeah.
and then you have to like pat it. Oh man. But yeah,
Bloody pets.
Have to show affection.
yeah, it's this fake animal, but it's cool. It's got like feather tech.
Yeah.
But performance is pretty bad, and it doesn't look. It's not the most prettiest game.
That game, like it's had an interesting ride.
Yeah, I wanna hear a GDC talk about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer. Like the amount of time people waited for it.
Oh yeah.
And then all of the problems that were still there when it finally came out. And when you compare it to like Shadow of the Colossus by the same team, it's just, guys, what happened?
I'm looking forward to playing that on PS4 because it's getting a remake or remaster.
Oh yeah, Shadow of Colossus.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, that
same
one.
here.
That one really.
And
killed
I
for it.
never played it, so that's gonna be cool.
Yep.
I'm gonna borrow your PS4 and play that
Oh
probably
yeah, yeah.
because that game looks awesome.
What about you, Nick? What are you looking forward to?
Mario Odyssey, I
Oh.
think, is probably the one I'm most excited about. And I
Do
don't
they
even
have
own
a
Switch.
release date?
October.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wait,
it's like a month
it's
and a half
coming
away.
to Switch, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna get a
It's
Switch.
only
I'll
gonna be on
probably get a
Switch.
Switch.
Yeah.
I'll probably get a Switch. I don't know if I'm gonna get it on launch.
Yeah.
I want to hold out until the inevitable like second generation Switch, which is
Right.
gonna be like twice the size and have 4
What
times
if
the battery
it's-
life
what if
and
it's-
4 more buttons or
What
whatever.
if it's smaller and more portable
Ooh. Yep.
and has
Um,
2 screens that you flip?
And one of them's 3D
Okay.
Yeah, one of them's 3D.
without glasses.
Yeah.
This is all very interesting to me. And what can we just like cut out the part where it's like a console entirely and you don't plug it in, you just take it around with you.
Well,
Whoa.
you can plug it in, but it is really just a recharge.
Right,
So
okay.
so the console is now just like a wire.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. That is revolutionary.
Awesome.
You know what they could do is they could even make it like a wedge-shaped version of that, which would just get rid of the 3D part.
Yeah, yeah.
And we get rid of the part where it folds up. We just make it like a big cheese wedge.
Yep.
And it's
Look,
got some
you
screens
know
on it.
how like Xbox controllers and PlayStation controllers have been getting more and more comfortable to hold. They should get rid of that idea completely and just have a plain brick.
Can it be gray?
Yes, it has to be.
Uh huh.
The Nintendo brick.
Yeah, the
You know,
Nintendo
if they
brick.
cut out all those colors, they'd probably get a lot more battery life. And you know, I hate that. Like when you got those rechargeable batteries, you can't take them out. So what if they just like use normal batteries?
Yeah.
And you can just like
Use 4 AA
4 of
batteries.
them at a time. And those 4 AA's would last a lot longer if there wasn't a backlight. Don't you think?
Wait, is there rumor of a new Switch? Is that
No,
I think
I'm-
you're just
This is
saying
wishful
that this
thinking.
is gonna
assuming that there is.
eventually
I mean,
show up.
if you think about like every console
Yeah.
for the past like 10
But how
years.
how
Yeah,
long?
but Nintendo bucks a trend, man. They
Do they?
Yeah,
they walk their own walk.
They sort of do.
Yeah, they
but,
do. They really do.
But they also put out like 4 different 3DSs. Like, so I'm not too. I'm pretty expectant that there's gonna be a souped up version, especially given that, like, there were serious manufacturing errors on the first run. Like there was a good chance that one of the 2 controller sides was just kind of busted.
Jeez. Did they do a recall or anything?
No,
Good
it's
guy,
like
Nintendo.
it's like syncing issues. Well, normally Nintendo hardware is like perfect from the get go, right? Not perfect, but like, but
You
it
scaled that
lasts.
one back.
It does what it says it's gonna do, and it doesn't break for like a super long time.
Right.
However, the Wii U we bought used is broken.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I told you about that.
What happened?
It just doesn't seem.
Oh,
to
is that
work
right
anymore.
after I had it?
Yeah, I got it back from you. I plugged it in, and it doesn't.
I don't know what.
Doesn't do anything anymore. It just doesn't work. So
I
it could be a
didn't do
power.
anything.
It could be a power source issue. It could also be a console issue. And the only way to find out is to get a new power source.
Right.
And the only way to get a new power source is to like order one from Australia.
Well, and it's like $100 or something.
It's really expensive.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm like, I'm just probably gonna
Why
get.
don't you go on Trade Me? Go on Trade Me, the New Zealand auction site.
Yeah, I think we looked on there, and there wasn't. There weren't many options. You could get like knockoff versions. But
Right. So I was going to ask you, are you going to buy Zelda again for the Wii for the Switch? But
if
it
I get a
sounds like-
Switch, I probably will.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I'll borrow it.
No, I don't think you will.
Give it back a
Actually,
broken console
I don't know
again.
that you will.
Tell me more about Odyssey. Has Nintendo said anything more about it since?
Not really, but like, it's a Mario platform. What else do you need to know?
Single player, yeah. No multiplayer.
I don't know. I don't know if they've talked about. I haven't looked into it. I tend to not look into games anymore.
Okay.
For games that I know I'm gonna enjoy,
Yeah.
I'm like I try and put it out of my mind until it's out.
Wait, there's a freaking game that you were looking forward to, Cuphead.
Oh yeah, that's
Is that
another
out?
one. But I don't know.
Man, I saw more footage on that. It looks like an RPG.
What? No, it's like an action platformer.
Yeah, there were moments of that, but I also saw like a view of the cup guy walking around in a bird's eye view map.
Oh, weird.
So-
Oh, it's probably just like a
Location.
level select, right?
Well, like
maybe?
old Mario style level.
Yeah,
select.
that would
I
be my
thought you were.
guess.
I thought you were following it a little more. So I was
No,
hoping-
again, a game I like. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna look into it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That game is man. That game got sort of like shown like 3 years ago or something, and just blew people away.
Yeah, it's a small team.
Yeah.
It was, I remember we talked about it to like for quite a while when we first saw it, because that art style is just gorgeous.
I'm always disturbed by that old school art style. It's just something disturbing about it.
That says something about you, I think, not about the art style.
Like that is angry sun
please,
faces.
tell me more.
like-
Is it specifically the angry sun?
That's just any angry face on those old school, well, those 1930s kind of cartoons are just like, this looks pure evil.
They do good angry faces.
Yeah, they were all about them in the old days.
We've been working on my fiance and I have been working on like a little project at home, using
Deep fryers.
no, not using deep fryers.
Oh,
Though now that you say that, I just suddenly wanted a corn
Deep
dog.
fryers, how many are you using for this project?
We got like 400 deep fryers, and it's using footage that's out of copyright and is in public domain.
Oh, cool.
ooh.
And we found, or she found, this like 10-minute ad, I think for like Chevrolet from the 1920s or 30s, which is like just an animation, and it's beautifully animated.
Oh,
Where there's
wow.
like this ghost that's like racing ahead of a car and like just tearing trees out of the ground and throwing it in the road, and it's kind of terrifying. But the art style is very much Cuphead. And so
That's
it's
cool.
maybe-
Yeah.
maybe get real excited to get about that game again.
Yeah, that is a really cool art style.
Oh, it's so good.
It's especially cool seeing that in a game because like it doesn't look like it should be playable.
Yes, that's part of what
Like it
makes
looks
it so
like-
good.
I mean, it's kind of like that South Park game where it just looks like an episode.
Yeah. Also, there's a new South Park game coming out.
Yeah.
That's another one I'm excited about. That one looks fun.
I can't think of any other games. Is there a new Battlefront game coming out? I mean, sorry,
so.
Battlefield game.
Battlefield. I don't know. I don't think so.
I thought they were annual releases,
Yeah, I thought so too.
and they haven't said anything.
Battlefield 1 still feels like it was like not too long ago. I guess it was last year though, right?
Yeah, it was.
Huh.
Yeah, 2 games.
Wow.
That's me.
Yeah. So there was a game I didn't get to talk about last week that
Oh, yeah.
I haven't actually played it for a while, but it was I was playing it in the sort of height of the craziness of getting 3.0 out when I was working like
Deep in crunch.
yeah. And I needed a game that was just chill, the chillest game to unwind after work, and is a game called Yonder, the Cloud Chronicles.
This is an Australian game, right?
Yeah, it turns out it's an Aussie game.
Yeah.
Which and it was cool because they did a talk at NZGDC about it.
Mm-hmm.
And what was even cooler, well, I thought was kind of weirdly synchronistic maybe or something, was that their talk was mostly about how tough their crunch was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was sitting there thinking like, man, this game kind of like helped me get like chill out through crunch. If only they had a game like their game to help them through crunch.
We're talking about that. It's like, you guys should have been playing. Oh,
Yeah. I was like, I got a game for. Oh, right. Yeah, but it's a game that it looks a little bit like it's got a little bit of a Breath of the Wild kind of vibe. Like you're doing a lot of exploring. There's no combat at all, and all you do is go around and like look at nice environments and like pick up like building materials. So there's like twigs and sticks and plants and like ore to mine and things like that, and you chop down trees and you just like build like crafting things like clothes, and like you have farms that you can manage as well, and those building materials like build stuff in the farm that then makes stuff, and you just sort of wander around looking at stuff and building like little things. It's
sounds super relaxing.
That's the thing. It totally is. Like, I mean, I haven't played it since 3.0 is out because like I'm would like something more
more active,
more action. You know, so I've been playing Tyranny, which is like a heavy game.
Yeah.
Whereas like Yonder was just perfect for like exhausted at the end of the day, get home at like 8 or 9 and just play that for a few hours and then go to bed, and it was fantastic. Yeah.
I'm getting Minecraft vibes.
It is a little bit, except I mean even Minecraft has monsters and can be stressful at times.
Okay.
But like Minecraft's a good example, but like I'm so tired of Minecraft.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this Yonder game is just, it's got like this it's got this real cute like art style that there's these cows that when you like click on them, they make this sound like and I just went around.
What was that noise?
And I just
Wait,
went
one
around.
more time. Okay.
And I just went around clicking on these cows for like 10 minutes.
What noise did those cows make? Okay.
They were great.
What about the dead cows?
No dead cows.
Oh wow.
No dead cows.
Okay.
Nothing dies.
Huh.
But yeah, it's kind of
So
cool.
is overpopulation an issue?
Nothing dies, but nothing new is ever created.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
it's just you.
It's just a stagnant world.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's
sounds
a real
nightmarish.
it is a real nightmare. But the it's got a real like it's got that Breath of the Wild vibe because there's like a civilization that had fallen, and there's like these sort of
Ruins.
and like these dark mist things covering certain like places, and you need to collect fairies to to unlock those areas. And
Of course. Yep.
yeah, but I mean it's chill, man. Just chill out and
Worth getting?
put that on. If you want a really hardcore relaxing game,
If you want to like really know life, the relaxation.
yeah, like put that on and just like I don't know, put some ambient music on Spotify at the same time, and like, man, you're gonna have a chill time.
Nice.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty cool. So I wanted to mention a little bit about Hearthstone, and then we should answer questions because we haven't done it in a super long time. We've got some time.
Yep.
So this is gonna be real quick. I've been playing Hearthstone. New expansion that came out like a month ago. They introduced these Death Knight cards. I think I've talked about it a little bit, where it's like it changes or upgrades your class in some way. And I primarily played these cards in Arena, where they're like usually broken OP, which is a whole can of worms that I'm not going to get into. But I decided that the design of them in the constructed format is really interesting because, at least in the case of some of the classes, it changes the dynamic of the class entirely. So, for example, normally if you're playing a Warlock, your hero power draws cards and eats a little bit of your life, right? You pay a little life, you get a card. It's strong, but there's a downside. And in Hearthstone, if you run out of cards, you start taking damage. So for the Warlock, there comes a point where like either you're running out of life and you can't life tap anymore to draw more cards because you just don't have that much life left, or you're running out of cards and you don't want to keep drawing because you're going to run out of cards and you're going to take more damage. The Warlock hero power, or the Warlock Death Knight class, turns your hero power into like deal 3 damage and gain 3 life. So you no longer draw and you can recover, which completely can change the dynamic of a game of Hearthstone. Just like normally when you're playing Hearthstone, your deck is building to a point where you want your win condition to trigger and you try and overwhelm your opponent. But the Death Knight turns it into sort of a 2-phase game, which I think is really interesting because the first phase, you're just playing your deck as normal. But then when you play your Death Knight, the dynamic of that game completely shifts, especially in the case of the Warlock. No longer are you trying to outdraw your opponent and get more things done. You're trying to outlast your opponent. And so I think that's really cool. That's all I wanted to say, is that the mechanic, especially the way it was handled with some of those classes, means that you now design your deck into like 2 different strategies at once, and each card has to sort of serve both strategies. That's all. The end. All right. Let's talk. Didn't
you say in the last that they'd changed up the arena thing? Are you still stand by what you said last time that you don't like it?
I do, and they're undoing it. Yeah.
Nice.
Did I say?
So they listen to the podcast.
Did I say I don't like it? I do like it.
I'm pretty sure you said you didn't like it.
No, most people don't like it. I like it. I think there were improvements that should be made.
Yeah.
But like broadly speaking, I think that the changes were actually positive, and I still think that. Like,
but
even
most people didn't like it.
Most people hated it because they would get occasionally offered bad cards, and they'd be like, meh. But like,
oh, like that cow.
Yeah, they'd be like, milk.
What dark alleys are you playing, Costa?
Is that not what happens in? Okay, yeah, no. People were very, very upset. It was in the Reddit controversy for Hearthstone. We always have them. Every game has them.
Any rumors about their next expansion?
I'm
always interested in Blizzard rumors more than Blizzard games.
I haven't heard any. No.
Okay.
I still think that they're eventually going to go in the direction of no longer just Warcraft properties.
Yep. Open it up to.
Yeah, like they had sort of hinted at that. They had a Tavern Brawl a while ago that was the Dark Wanderer or Dark Traveler.
Yeah.
It was like it was a Diablo reference. It was for the 20th or 25th anniversary of Diablo. 20th.
Probably 20th.
20th, yeah. And I had assumed that was their way of sort of testing the waters and seeing like what can we start putting Diablo stuff in there? Can we start putting StarCraft?
It's so Warcraft themed though.
Right now,
you're in a tavern and stuff. Like you're in a Warcraft tavern.
Yes. Yeah, that's
like
true.
that's all the marketing for it.
Yep. Yeah, I think I based on their most recent, they did like a short film.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that?
It's very Disney.
It is.
It even had a Gaston type dude singing.
Yeah, and it makes me really want Blizzard to do a movie.
Yeah,
but with a better writer.
Yeah,
Just get a better, because that was not the most well written song in the world.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I mean it was very trying to be Disney, but not quite.
They've got the
not quite
animation
something.
style down. Like
Well,
it's as good at looking as Disney
Apparently,
movies.
according to YouTube comments, they've hired a lot of like ex-Disney people
Okay.
for their animation stuff,
Yeah,
and
I'd
I can
believe
see that. Like their Overwatch shorts are very Pixar-y
Yes.
looking. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would happily watch a Blizzard animated movie as long as it's not written by whoever's writing those things, because a lot of those are not good.
Yeah.
Like their stories are bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
For a company that makes like World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
which people
I
like
was-
the stories and lore of.
What I'm hearing is video game stories equal.
Except you'll note that we're discussing the story in
No, I
a
know.
short film.
I know. I'm not going to
So-
revive this thing.
What did you watch? We must have talked about the Warcraft movie, right?
No, I don't know what we did. I never saw it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shit.
You should watch it.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
I've heard it was terrible.
So the thing is like it didn't do great in the US, but like really killed it in China,
Yeah.
and it made like it was profitable, even though all the media is like, oh, it was a flop, but it's not. I think if they ever made another one, it would just be focused on marketing it to China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll do a panda sequel.
Yeah.
As long as no
Films of
pandas
Pandaria.
die, then it's then they totally will.
Yeah.
Did you have something to say about the Warcraft movie? Being a Blizzard thing?
I was just wondering if Nick had seen it because he's talking about stories.
Did they do the CGI? I don't think Blizzard did like actually handle.
No, they didn't do this. I mean, they heavily had a hand in writing it because it's their story.
Yeah. How was the writing?
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to ask you about because it's
You've got to see it, Nick. Really?
Okay.
It's
yeah,
like if
I
you know
will.
like Warcraft lore, you're like, oh yeah, it's all there, but it's all there so fast.
Right. I've heard it's just like tons of fan service.
Yeah.
Which
They open in like
Nice.
they open in Ironforge for no reason, just to be like, here's a shot of a sweet
someone-
CG scene of Ironforge that you've only ever seen in like low poly MMO quality, but here it is rendered in all its beauty, and they're there for like a minute, less than a minute, where a dude's like, hey, you need to go to Stormwind, and they're like, all right, I'm going to Stormwind, and they get on a griffin, and it's like,
do they really? Do they get on a griffin?
Yeah, it's griffins.
Do they ride into
I'm-
Ironforge through the tunnel and like
I
go
like
to the auction house and
I'm pretty sure, like, I might just be imagining it, but I'm so sure that there's a shot of Stormwind and it comes in through the Griffin flight path,
that's cool.
and like,
That's some. But
goes
at
through-
the
it's
same
like-
time, it's like only fan service.
Yep.
So, oh dear.
yeah,
Well,
it's cool. I really like that movie. It felt so fast. It was just like, man, this was. It lost some of its epicness because it was so fast.
that was by the guy who directed Moon as well.
Yeah.
So that movie like really takes its time.
Yeah, that's the
Which
thing.
I
Yeah,
like.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. That,
Yeah.
What I'll say about it is brutal. They do some shit in that, and you're like, they can't do this in a M-rated movie.
Oh yeah,
What?
it is an M-rated movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of. I think 2 or 3 scenes really got me. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe they're doing this. Anyway,
violent.
yeah,
Okay.
It was the explicit sex scene, right?
it was real weird.
I'm not gonna. Well, moving on. let's ask a question, shall we? If you got any questions, you can email frenzyquestions@gmail.com or tweet at frenzycast. Facebook.com/frontseatcast is our Facebook page, and we also check our comments on frontseatgamer.wordpress.com. Do we also check our YouTube comments? Sometimes.
Yep. Well,
wanna-
there is a YouTube comment right on there that
YouTube.com/frontseatcast is our YouTube page. Let's have a look at
that top one is a YouTube comment.
that top one. Is a long one.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought there was another top one.
How can
Another top one. A top one.
Think, Blake. Think before you.
I didn't get to where I am by, thinking before I say things.
This is a long one that definitely looks like an email. We can go to the next one, which kind of looks like it came from YouTube.
Oh, actually, you know what? I didn't paste it.
Do you want to read it out now?
It was okay. I'll summarize.
Are you gonna paraphrase?
Yeah, I'll paraphrase. It was just someone saying from last episode where we talked about Hellblade that he was really enjoying, or she, I don't know, I can't tell, was really enjoying Hellblade, and that they also took like 800 screenshots.
Oh, yeah.
I did see that.
Yeah.
It's good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Alien Train.
Alien Train. It's like a slowly
You got
crashing
that?
alien train.
That final model, I couldn't believe how good it looked. Yeah, Blake, goddamn it, pick it up. You're a part of the Mixel guy.
You've hurt Saveun apparently.
God damn it.
Well, I picked up Yonder. Isn't that basically the same?
Same thing. Same thing.
The opening shot in Hellblade is pretty good too.
Cool.
How you're in a canoe going towards this thing.
Yeah.
And then you see some stuff and you're like, fuck.
Dude, don't spoil it for me. Now I know that you see some stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's ask this question. Hey up, chaps. Firstly, I've been playing 3.0 and having a blast. Some really nice looking rocks on the Harbinger map, desert tile set, and charged dash is really fun. Question. Do you think the Pantheon system is successful? I kind of think it is antithetical to the way PoE is usually played. You set your passives and go. Pantheon seems like you're meant to change it before encounters, but it's better to make a character that can pretty much handle all encounters and use this system to patch up any weak points. I'd be interested to hear your intent and an idea behind it.
I feel like that's a question for you.
It is, yeah. My second question might be more of a programmer question, so feel free to ignore it. Me and my friends were discussing this, and I really wanted to know how the game is structured. My friend was advocating for a long bunch of if statements that deal with the logic of damage, defenses, buffs, etc. My theory is a character has a master list of stats, which are recalculated any time an item passive that affects stats is changed. And an effect of any kind will put the relevant stats it needs on application. In my mind, this explains why the character doesn't know it has evaded an attack. Hopefully you can clear this up. I'm not a programmer, and this is probably a much better question for like Jonathan, who
we'll keep that
invented most of these systems.
Yeah.
But I think it is closer to the second thing than the first thing. We do recalculate stats every time something changes, which is why when you had 70 minions and auras affecting all of them, you'd get like serious lag every time they would move in and out of the radius. Especially the Femurs of the Saints item, which checked the number of minions you had and granted bonuses for those minions. No, maybe granted bonuses for you. Anyway, it meant that stats were just constantly changing, and it was very laggy, and it was a problem. And we worked very hard to get those things better. But regarding the Pantheon system, it is different to the way you normally set up your character, and that is by design. It is intended to patch up weak points, and not every character is going to have the same weak points. And the things that your character is weak against are not always going to be relevant. So sometimes you're going to fight a boss that deals lots of damage over time, and you're going to want to take a Pantheon that helps against that. And sometimes you're going to be fighting against a boss that stuns you all the time or freezes you all the time, and you're going to want to select a Pantheon that helps you with that. And maybe your character is freeze immune, so that's never relevant, but you've got other choices. So it is by design meant to be flexible. You're not meant to like change it every single time you do a map, but you're meant to be able to have that option. You're meant to be able to go, this is the map I'm doing. This boss does this stuff, and I normally can't deal with it, but this will help me out. Yep.
Sounds legit.
Yep. That was from Dan. Thank you for the question, Dan. Let's do this next one. This is from ChiliCon Karma. I love that name. Regarding Jonathan's podcast, he mentions not having played Civ 4. In his honest opinion, the mod Fall from Heaven 2 is the closest thing he knows of to what GGG has done with Diablo 2 and Final Fantasy, adding layers of fantasy and story to a skeleton of another game. Well, I think
I've heard of that mod, and it's like I don't know if it's still insanely popular.
I had never heard of it, but that sounds cool. He said, because the mod is so brilliantly executed and well done, I'd like to recommend that it is at least given a glance at the Civpedia level. It should perhaps be obvious that they tried showing an amount of content, shoving it, I think it's meant to be shoving, it says showing, an amount of content into Civ 4 that somewhat resembles how GGG looks to D2, to a D2, D3 player. He's basically recommending the game because of its relevance. Cool. I never really played much Civ 4. I played Civ 5 a lot.
Yeah, I played a lot of Civ 4, and I found out about that mod, but I'd already moved on to Civ 5, and now there's like Civ 6.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's even further removed. But like, I'd love to see an updated. I actually haven't. Maybe there are updated mods for 5, maybe even 6.
You played, was it called Eternal Kingdom?
Endless Legend.
Endless Legend.
Yeah.
How did I get both of those wrong? But still,
But I also knew what you're
close
talking
enough.
about.
Close enough for him to get what I'm talking about. Yeah, I've heard multiple people tell me that game is like really good.
Yeah, that game is really good.
I should play that game.
Yeah, it's I think I must have talked. I've talked about it on the podcast that like it's a fantasy civ.
Yeah.
And the graphics, they are like the opening of Game of Thrones.
Like and it's called Immortal Myth.
Endless Legend.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Forever story.
Never-ending story.
Oh my god. Yep.
Wow.
Never-ending story. The
Wow.
game.
That puts everything in a new light. Saveun, have you played any Civ?
No. I think in my lifetime I've played about an hour.
Of which one?
The
first
with
one.
our first
Old one.
computer that my parents brought, we had this pack. I think it was like a Sierra pack, and it had Command and Conquer 2, I believe, and Civ. I think it was Civ 2.
Okay.
And we loaded up. Didn't know what the hell was happening. Put Command and Conquer on, and I was like, "This is more.
Yeah.
This is my game."
Dude,
Yeah.
Growing up, I remember seeing those Civ games, and my category for those games they were like games that your friend's big brother would be playing, and he'll be like, "Whoa, when I'm older, I'm probably gonna like games like this." And I used because I go to like a mate's place, and his older brother would be playing that, or like Railroad Tycoon, or something like that, and I'm like, man, I just like Mario. Like this is a whole nother
Hey
thing.
man, you don't badmouth Mario. That game is gonna be amazing. I'm so excited.
There's something about turn-based games that really didn't jive with me. But then I played Pokemon, and then I was like, I love this game.
Oh,
So, I don't know what it was about Civ, but it instantly.
Would you be willing to give it another try?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Like nowadays.
Yeah,
But the thing is, I don't have much time for video games, so
yeah.
Dude, you
So
won't
that's the
have
thing.
much time for Civ.
Civ is that's a game where you're like, I'll play for an hour, and then you look at the clock, it's 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no.
I think I've
I
told
don't want to do this.
I think I've told Jay there's a setting for Civ 5 called Marathon, which just lengthens the time of everything.
No.
And it's so that like you don't speed through tech so fast, so your like spearmen actually
Irrelevant.
get to be used for a long
That's pretty
type
cool.
of time, like amount of time. Yeah.
I've played other Civ games have had like time and turn changing. Like you can determine the number of turns, but I've always found that like that stretches out the amount of build time as well, and I found that
Yeah.
frustrating. It's like
Yeah, it does that as well, and it's really slow in
Yeah.
the beginning. But then once you get like multiple cities, there's just always stuff to do anyway.
but that's
like,
a long time.
yeah, it is.
Of just like, okay, now you move over here.
Yep.
Okay, and now you move.
It
over
is
here.
probably the first hour is the slowest, but then after that you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I just.
I don't know.
need to
It's
talk
just it's cool that it's an option.
Mm.
You know.
All right. We're pretty much out of time, and Blake's sister's coming over real soon.
Yeah,
So
like half an hour.
yep, we got to wrap it up.
I did a NZGDC talk.
Oh
yeah.
I didn't talk about it. I would like to share it with the front seat gamer community. As soon as it's live, I'll put it on YouTube or something.
What was the title of it?
It was the best title.
Yeah,
It had an exclamation mark.
genuinely love this title.
It's called Photogrammetry Rocks.
Yeah, which is the perfect title because it literally is about the rocks that we put in the game using photogrammetry.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah,
There was a shoe as well.
They were, they were more, yeah.
there was a shoe. Did you say?
Yeah, there was a shoe. Oh yeah, you weren't there. Why weren't you there, Nick?
I was at Rory's NZGDC.
Now
talk.
we know which one you favor.
Yep. And that's all we have time for.
Oh man.
See ya.
No, rate us on iTunes. Tell your friends about us. We're part of the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. Hashtag AGP on Twitter. Facebook.com/groups/AGP Network on Facebook. Thanks, Leanne, for our logo. And thanks, Andrew, for our music. And we'll be back in a couple weeks. Bye.
See ya.
I think that light just blew.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, yeah.
I just turned it off just now.
Did you? Okay.
But it didn't change. So.
Yeah, no. Because I saw it turn off and was like, did that light just go? Dude, the light in my bedroom went last night. That light's
What the
gone.
fuck's going on,
Like,
man?
what is happening here?
I had fuzzy Stranger Thing lights happening at my place.
Fuzzy
last
Stranger
night.
Thing. You're seeing the upside down?
Yeah, it was fucking... The Christmas lights were, like, blinking.
Oh, shit.
All right, yeah. Let's get into this.